forces you to change your life actually leads you to the career that you were actually meant to have. I just sat down with Heather Hardcastle. She is the founder of Flour Craft Bakery, and I love hearing how her own health journey led her from landscape design to culinary school and eventually to creating incredible gluten-free food that everybody wants to eat. We talked about starting over, entrepreneurship, her cookbook, the Good Life Shop, and why it is truly never too late to reinvent yourself. I'm Christina Flack. I'm too busy. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I hope you love this interview as much as I did. Let's do it.
Heather, I want to go all the way back because you didn't just start out thinking, I'm going to open a gluten-free bakery. Where were you? What happened? How did this happen?
Oh my goodness. Well, we opened our first brick and mortar flour craft in 2013, and that was in downtown San Anselmo, still there, same location. But going back before that, my journey led me to be a gluten-free baker. Sort of circuitously, I came to baking as a career change in my early 30s. And I had a very different career before this. And I was suffering from some chronic health and digestive issues pretty much my whole life. And I just felt like I'm not getting any younger. This is not getting any better. It's really time to just kind of take charge of my health. And in working with a nutritionist, worked with a wonderful nutritionist in about like late 99, early 2000. We started doing an elimination diet. And when we came upon gluten, it was like my whole life changed at that point. That was a life-changing moment for me. And I got really into cooking and baking. And in 2008, I enrolled in culinary school at the CAA at Greystone in Napa Valley. And that's kind of where we started.
You and your husband actually spent years running a landscape design
Yeah,
and construction business.
we did.
How do we get from, I mean, you just went from how you got from there to there, but
Yeah.
was it a weird transition for you?
I mean, it was when we talk about career change. I mean, it isn't really even career adjacent. It's really it's really a change. I mean, other than the fact that they're both very creative pursuits, and I do think that on some level, food and gardens and plants connect for sure.
I
So
agree. I agree.
yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. You said your favorite food was always toast, which I
toast.
love. Then you discovered that you couldn't eat gluten, which means your beloved toast was toast.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was that like more than 20 years ago when there wasn't gluten-free options everywhere like there are now? So what did you do?
Well, that's really what led me to do this. I decided that I just could not live my life without toast. And what kind of life is that? And so I needed to learn how to make it myself. So, because we could not even go to the store in the year 2000 and buy terrible frozen gluten free bread, that just wasn't a thing. I better learn how to make it if that's what I wanted to eat. So, that's what I did.
Were you scared to start over professionally? Because that's a big drastic change.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, and I'm somebody that really, I guess, define success for myself personally by how creatively challenging it is. So I'm somebody that doesn't shy away from a challenge, and I love the opportunity to create in a new way. So it was exciting and terrifying, all the feels
All
all at
rolled into
once.
one sushi roll.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who thinks, oh, I'm too old to start over?
Never too old. I think
I
that
agree. I think that is like the
absolutely
biggest cop out ever. I'm like,
1,000,000%.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's never too late to start again. You're never too old. I mean, look at Julia Child, right? I mean, what was she, 60 when she first started cooking?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Ina
You know,
Garten
she went
too.
to
Yeah.
Branson. Did you know she went to Branson?
Did you? I didn't know that. No. Wild.
Yes. It's a fun
Huh.
fact on Julia.
Wow. Yeah. Not too old, never too late. And
Yeah.
I personally think that it's extremely healthy to reinvent yourself every so often.
Agreed. Agreed. Did the people around you understand what you were doing and or did anybody or did they think you were like batshit?
I'm blessed to have a very supportive husband. So he had faith that this. I mean, I was running our business full time while in school, but he had faith that I would do something productive with it. And he was very supportive of it. So that's great. I'm lucky.
When you were studying classical pastry, gluten-free baking really wasn't part of the curriculum.
Absolutely not.
How
No.
did you take those traditional techniques and essentially teach yourself an entirely new way of baking?
So much trial and error. I can't speak to what the curriculum is like now, but I do feel like it's gotten a lot more integrated in terms of allergen-free baking and allergen-free cooking. I think that's just, there's so much more awareness of that now.
Right.
Um, but when I was there, that was not a thing. So it was a lot of trial and error. But I
How
think
many
once,
terrible
Mhm.
loaves of bread did you make before
So
you?
many, so many.
Yeah,
I still make terrible loaves of bread.
I
I
doubt
mean,
that.
well, I mean, I guess I probably have a fairly high bar about what they should be, but
Right.
whenever I'm developing a new recipe, I mean, there's a couple for sure that are like, oh no, that's not it. Back to the drawing board. Now it's just easier for me to isolate what went wrong and
Right.
to fix it.
Figure out
Yeah,
what that one.
yeah,
So let's clear
exactly.
something up for people because
Okay.
gluten-free has become such a broad term. What actually happens when you remove gluten from baking? And what job was the gluten even doing?
Well, gluten is a protein found in many grains, but primarily wheat, rye, and barley. And it kind of acts as the glue that holds things together. So it's what gives you the elasticity in a lot of baked goods. So when you remove that, you have to replace it with something else, or you would wind up with a flat, dense brick.
Dry
Yeah,
crumble next.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And so what typically, so tell me a little bit about something that like what you started with and
Mhm.
what ingredients have you added to substitute for the gluten?
Yeah. So our recipes have evolved over the years. When I first started, people were using a lot of gums as binders. And I feel like the more that we learn and the more that we're interested in health and gut health and that sort of thing, we at Flour Craft anyway have moved away from starches and gums. And we're using more whole grain flours, and we're using a lot of psyllium in our loaves. So that's a dietary fiber, which is great for your gut. It also, when mixed with water, it makes this very sticky, elastic gel.
Mm-hmm.
So we use that in a lot of our bread formulations, and that's been something really fun to see, kind of where gluten free started and how it has evolved.
If I'm making a brownie versus a loaf of bread versus a beautiful layer cake,
Mhm.
how should I be thinking differently about the flour?
It's very different, and there's a right way to do things for every baker and every bakery. Our personal philosophy is that um, we do not believe that the same flour, that a brownie, a cake, a scone, a loaf of bread, those are very distinctly different texturally. So we do our own flour blending, and we have a different flour mix for pretty much everything that we make. It's a little bit different.
What are the biggest mistakes that homemakers make with gluten-free baking?
I think the assumption that you can substitute one for one, that you can read a recipe that says 2 cups of all purpose flour, and you
Mm.
can go into your cupboard and say, well, I have rice flour or I have corn flour. Well, let's just do that. And it does take some blending. It does take some blending.
Are there certain flours, like when you're substitute, that are better for a brownie as opposed to a scone?
Sure. I mean, I think that if you're adding fat and sugar and ideally eggs, that the product is a lot more forgiving. So you have a lot more leeway. You don't have to be as careful with your blending. You don't have to be as mindful of like, well, we need a starch and we need a binder and we need a. It's a little bit easier if you have that bag of white rice flour in your cupboard and you're trying to make a brownie, you're probably going to be fine. If you're trying to make a loaf of bread, that's a different matter. It's the leaner the dough gets, the more things you take out of the dough, the trickier it is to work with.
Wow, that's like a science project. It sounds really complicated.
It's not. I feel like. I mean, To be perfectly honest, I'm probably the most impatient baker you will ever meet. I feel like I have a good feel for what I'm doing at this point.
Right.
But it takes time to develop that. Yeah, and in the beginning, you need to be very meticulous about like keeping track of every single thing you're putting in, what that did to the final product, and then kind of tweaking from there. You need to be able to isolate what everything does.
It's kind of like what your doctor did with your diet when you were diagnosing your,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that process actually helped you to do that.
I haven't thought about that, but I think that actually makes a lot of sense to just break
Right.
it down into small pieces. I mean, that's just kind of the
Right.
way my
You
mind
kind of,
works too.
yeah.
Yeah.
What sign are you?
Well, I call myself a Cleo. I am born
You're a
on the
Capricorn
no,
Leo?
I'm born on the last day of Cancer or the first day of Leo,
Oh,
depending on kind of how you feel about that and what horoscope you read. I think I walk the line. I think I walk that line pretty well. I have both.
just because I literally just got off a Zoom, I was interviewing a pre-interview with an astrology. It was just fascinating. I'll have to
Oh
give you
my
that info.
goodness.
No,
Oh my
she's
goodness. Well,
amazed. What do you wish people understood about gluten-free food that they still absolutely get wrong every time?
I wish that people felt like the fact that it's gluten free means that it's inclusive for more rather than exclusive for many. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I yeah, my mission with Flour Craft has always been to make an inclusive space. There's always one person in a party or one person in a family or a child or a parent or somebody that we have a relationship with that needs to eat gluten free for a variety of different reasons. And the idea with Flour Craft is to make it inclusive so that everybody could come there and the person that needed to be gluten free could feel so well taken care of and have so many options. And then there would be beautiful seasonal food for everyone. So that's that's what I wish people felt about it rather than thinking, I don't need that. It's not for me. I don't have to be gluten free. So
One thing I really love about your philosophy is that you don't seem interested in making food that's good for gluten. It's good, but it's gluten free. You make
right.
it good for good.
It needs to
Period.
be good for good,
Yeah.
period. Full
Yeah.
stop. Yeah. The fact that it's gluten free for me should and always has been bonus.
Was that philosophy there from the beginning for you? Yeah, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the early, I mean, we opened our first store in 2013, so that was still early. We started at
Oh,
farmers markets.
definitely.
Yeah, we started at farmers markets a few years before that. But so I feel like making it approachable for everyone has always been like a leading principle.
Do you think that we've become too focused on labels, gluten free, vegan, plant based, paleo, sometimes forgotten the most important question? Does it actually taste good?
Yes, I think that we eat certainly for nourishment, for energy, for so many different reasons, but we also eat for conviviality and for it's a process of sharing experience with people that you love, people that you want to spend time with. And I think that there's pleasure in it too. I mean, you eat with your eyes first, and then it should be very complex in terms of textures and flavors. And I think that there's enjoyment, and we need to remember that. It's very important.
Agreed. Can something be nourishing and indulgent at the same time?
I think so. I
Yeah, right?
absolutely think so. Yeah, absolutely.
You and Rick started Flour Craft in 2010 and opened San Anselmo Bakery in 2013. What do
Mhm.
you remember about those early days?
I remember being terrified. I remember a lot of anxiety. I'm not an anxious person by nature. The two times in my life that I feel like I've had more anxiety than any other time in my life have been when we opened Flower Craft number one and when we opened Flower Craft number two. Those few months leading up to it, it was a lot. Um,
Do you think it maybe was excitement and not anxiety? Because I think sometimes we
Absolutely.
do this mind kind of a mind fuck that we tell ourselves, oh, I'm scared, I'm scared. But actually, like I've turned it around in my life with like when I go on TV and I'm like, no, I'm excited.
I'm
Because if I
excited.
tell myself I'm excited and not scared, it's a totally different experience. So do you
I
think you
agree.
could?
How we talk to each other, how we frame
Yes.
it makes, or how we talk to ourselves, excuse me, how we frame that for ourselves makes a big difference. But yeah, I remember being excited, we'll say, before opening both of them. I think especially in 2013, because it was so early, just there was this big education piece that I felt like was really important to educate people about the possibilities for what gluten-free could be. In
Right.
addition, in with the second one, it was like we'd already built some sort of following and reputation, at least locally. So
Right.
that was that wasn't there as much.
Where was there a moment when you looked around and went, "Oh my God, this is actually working"?
Yeah, I feel like, especially with our second location in Mill Valley, we were in this very small development, for lack of a better term, and we were one of the first businesses to open in this development by like a year. We were there almost a year before most of the other businesses that are there
And
now.
in the old mill.
Exactly, in the lumber yard. Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember my husband saying, I don't think anybody knows this is here. I don't think anybody's going to come. So when people really came and when on the weekends we had consistent lines out the door, it was like, okay, this is okay. Like I
It's
knew
real.
the second that I walked into that space that this was the space. Like it was instant. I was
It
like,
was
this
home.
is it.
You knew.
Yep. I could see how it was going to look when it was done, the whole thing. So to have
But
that reaffirmed was nice. Yeah.
but that kind of also comes back into your other career and landscape because you would go into a house, I would
Space
imagine, and go, "Oh,
planning.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah." So I mean, I think you had an actual, plus on your side that you were able to visualize something, whereas
Visualize.
somewhat a lot of people that, like, let's just say they're a chef, they're envisioning the food, but they're not really envisioning
Right.
the space. So
The
that was really a
space.
blessing that you had.
Absolutely. And it doesn't happen every time either. I mean, I've when I walked into our first location, it was the same thing. I could see how it would all fit together. So I feel like when that inspiration strikes, that I try to trust that.
Yes. What what's the difference between being a talented chef and successfully running a food business?
Well,
Because
I
they're
think
very
that
two different skill sets.
there are very two different skill sets. I mean, I will say for myself that when I so as I mentioned, I went to culinary school in my early 30s, and I was not interested in that point at working in a restaurant or working late at night. I was married, we had a home. That just wasn't the life that I wanted. So um, I feel like I came into this business without as much like restaurant experience as many chefs do. And I came in with more of like small business experience. I mean, running a food
Mhm.
business and running whatever service business are very different, but it's still small business. So I knew that I had good instincts. And I really leaned into that. I really leaned into that. I leaned into what I knew about business, managing people, and learned the rest as I went along.
Right. What has been harder than you expected about entrepreneurship?
Um, how many ways can I count? I mean I should say actually I sort of never imagined when I look back on what I imagined doing. I think I always imagined doing my own thing. Um, I always say that I'm unemployable. I'd probably be a terrible employee because I'm always thinking about like, well, I would do this different, and why aren't they doing it like that? And so I think I'm just destined to run my own business. But I will say that specifically, one of the things that is and always has been challenging that people probably don't take into account is that you don't get days off. You
No, you do
it's
not.
you do not get days off. I mean, to think
No.
like, okay, I'm going to go home and have my evening off. No, no. There is a million different things to do when I come home at night in terms of the hundreds of emails, the social media, the development of recipes, the scheduling of staff. And I'm very hands-on operationally at this point. So there's also the managing of staff and call outs and people that are sick and on vacation, all that sort
Oh
of thing that
God.
happens
That's
in
what's
real
hard.
time.
Do you have
Yeah.
children?
Pardon?
Do you have children?
I am child-free.
Oh,
Child-free and gluten-free. Yes.
that's a good one. That could be a t-shirt. That-
Oh,
what
and
has
gluten-free.
been more rewarding than you expected?
Also, so many things, so many things. The fact that I really feel that we're bringing something of value to our community is really meaningful. And it, for me, feels like maybe the best expression of success, however you imagine that. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody measures success differently. I feel like knowing that there's this very tangible product that we're offering to our community is really lovely, and all the really amazing people that I get to work with. So
That is
it's
a
a team
blessing.
effort. It is a team effort. This does not happen just alone. So,
Definitely. You've built Flour Craft with your husband. How do
yes.
you successfully work with the person that you are married to?
I don't know that that's the path for everyone. I don't. For us, it has always worked. We ran our previous business together. We run this business together. I will say for us that we are very good about setting aside time just for us. So, like when our sort of sacred daily ritual is we have dinner together every night. It isn't necessarily like a multi-course fancy meal, but we make a point of like we stop everything. The phones are not there. They're not even near. They're in the other room. We have dinner together. So
Do
setting
you talk
aside,
about business during
no,
that time? It's just talking
mm-mm,
about me and
what our
you,
day was like. Yeah, I mean, we could say what our day was like, but we're not getting into the nitty gritty of like,
issues.
did you
Yeah.
do this? Did you do that? Where are you at with this project? The other thing is that we happen to have a very complementary skill set. So we do work very well together. However, we've also been married a very long time, and we've learned over the years that working in the same physical space is not great. So so long as we work together, but we work in separate physical spaces, not like shoulder to shoulder in the same space. That works.
Yes. You've said that one of the things that you love most about being a chef is that you can never completely master cooking and baking
Yeah,
because there's always something new to learn. And I love
exactly.
that. Where does your creativity come from?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that I'm drawn to these pursuits that one can never master. Like I would say the same thing with gardening and plants. It's like it's not like you've learned everything. I mean, you can never have learned it. It's the same thing with cooking. I um, where does my creativity come from? I draw a lot from nature. I think from the world around me. Um, that influences my cooking a lot. Seasonality. Um, yeah, inspiration from travel. I mean, from every
Right. How
place. I'm
about
an
farmers
avid
market? When you go to the
farmers
farmers
market.
market and sip it,
Absolutely. I mean, I would
yeah,
say
does
that's
that
the world around
inspire
me. Like
you?
to
And
me,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, cookbooks, blogs, Substacks. I mean, I'm an avid consumer of um, food writing in all forms. So, reading what other people are doing and how they're putting things together. I always say that it's very difficult to come up with something truly new in food, right? I mean, putting blue cheese
Yeah,
and figs
everything
together or whatever.
right.
Yeah, but it's like how you do it and the way that you express it. It's like it isn't like nobody's ever thought of putting those two things together, but how you do it is what makes it interesting.
So when you're creating something new, do you bring in with an ingredient, a flavor, a memory, or an idea? What's your process like?
Um, it could be any of those things. My process is usually an ingredient. I'll be thinking about, or I will have been at the farmer's market. I will have been traveling. I will have been at a restaurant somewhere, and I will think, oh, I just had the most amazing peach. So what can I do with this to elevate it to that level? So I usually start with an ingredient and go from there.
What is your favorite ingredient to cook with? Like, I mean, right now, let's say, what's
Right now,
inspired you lately?
all things summer fruit. I mean, we're really in California.
Nectarines, peaches.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of peach season, which makes me sad. I do love a good peach. I I will say that in California, our produce season is so long. So we have the luxury of working with summer ingredients for a very long season. I love fall, so I love all fall flavors. So I'm getting really excited now about pears, apples, all the warm spices. Like if I could do walnut,
Cozy.
yeah, walnut, cardamom, everything forever, I would. Obviously, pumpkin's going to start being a
Mm,
thing. I think we all have a mixed in the food world, I think, or at least in the bakery world, I think we all have mixed feelings about pumpkin because it's very, it's like, oh, here we go with the pumpkin. Everything becomes pumpkin for a couple months, but that's fall.
how do you know when a recipe is finished?
I don't know that I've ever in my life thought that a recipe was finished. I'm always thinking, that's really great. And how can I make it better? Or what could we do differently? Or right now we're doing it with peaches or plums or whatever it is. Coming into fall, could we make this with pears and apples? Or how could we adapt? So I'm somebody that's always kind of tinkering.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's
Is
how I
there
am.
was there a recipe that like nearly broke you?
Uh, I will say one of the things that has been the hardest was is gluten-free croissants. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know that that's unique to me or to Flour Craft. I worked for like 2 years on the gluten-free croissants, and then I finally, to my wonderful and talented head baker, I was like, I'm gonna give this one over to you. And he tinkered and tinkered and tinkered and came up with a really great recipe. And I think that we both are always trying to figure out how to make it just a little bit better, or how to adapt it, or so that's something it's a work in process and something that I'm super proud of. I'm super proud of Flour Craft for figuring that out because that's a hard one.
That is a hard one. Your food feels very California to me. It's seasonal, it's fresh, it's
Thank you.
beautiful, plant forward, but still comforting. What does
Thank you.
California cooking mean to you?
I think it's intrinsic to who I am. I'm a native Californian, and it's just how I see food. To me, it means seasonality
Yeah,
and abundance, plant forward.
right. Is there one ingredient that immediately makes you think of Northern California? I can't wait to hear this answer.
I'm gonna have to think about this one. Immediately makes me think of Northern California. I mean, the first thing that kind of comes to mind, and I don't think this is particularly original, so I think I'm gonna have to think about this one. But I mean, I think about avocados, right? I mean, I know that's extremely cliche. Like I should be able to come up with something a little more creative than that. But that is what comes
No,
to mind. That is what comes to mind immediately. How do we use them in every form? And I'm very specific about my avocados too. Like I said, I'm a native Californian, so like I do not like a warm avocado. No, how do you use that beautiful raw ingredient and highlight it? I also think it blends very well with unexpected things. Like it isn't all just about guacamole and avocado toast, although we do sell a whole lot of avocado toast. But I mean, I think it pairs beautifully with fruits, sweet and savory things.
I agree. What do you think we've lost by becoming so accustomed to having almost every ingredient all year long?
Maybe the true seasonality. I mean,
Right.
maybe not relying on tomatoes all year because we can get them 9 months of the year, or strawberries all year because we can actually get them 9 months of the year. I mean, I think that we maybe have lost that anticipation of the ingredient because they're so available.
Yeah. Let's shift a bit. When did you
Okay.
know there needed to be a flour craft cookbook? And what was harder, opening a bakery or writing the cookbook?
They're so different. My goodness. I mean, I'm going to say that opening the bakery was definitely harder. I mean, we bootstrapped the whole thing at twice. I mean, we did it. We just put everything we had on the line 2 times. We crowdfunded. I mean, it was just everything we had. So I will say opening the bakery was harder, but I did learn. I learned a ton writing the book. I knew nothing about publishing. I never published anything before. I didn't know that you had to write a proposal and have the whole thing completely photographed and formatted and finished before you could even submit it. Who knew? So I learned a lot about that. I will say, as somebody who's always had their own business for the better part of my adult life, in some capacity, that I found it so inspiring to work with a creative team, to work with a really talented creative team of professionals, like-minded professionals. That was
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, I loved it.
I've worked on a bunch of cookbooks with Tyler Florence, who's been
Oh
my client for
yeah.
17
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
So I've, and we do all kinds of things with Hefton pans and, you
Yeah.
know, I do everything, anything he's photographed, I'm with him. So I've seen the whole process and it really is interesting, but it's
Yeah,
a lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot. And
Yeah.
it was great. I loved it. I think what inspired me to do that, for me, I always say it's my COVID project, but the book came out in 2021. So that's really what I did. I was kind of in the works in 2019, and then we shot it, I think in like January, February of 2020, like just before
Interesting.
lockdown. Yeah. And
Right.
so then we refined it, edited it, tweaked the whole thing during 2020.
So you've included more than 75 recipes.
Yeah.
How on earth did you decide which recipes made it into the book? And was there one recipe that absolutely had to be included because customers would never have forgiven you otherwise?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's hard for me to narrow down because I have no shortage of ideas. So there is another book in there somewhere, but for this one, I narrowed it down based on, I wanted it to be a picture of kind of a day in the life of flour craft. So it's a lot of bakery favorites, things that people will find if they came to the store. It's just an extension of that flour craft lifestyle, that dreamy, sort of bright California food and lighting and that sort of thing. Recipes that people would just die if weren't in there. Probably the focaccia, because that's a mainstay for us. Scones, also a mainstay. The recipe that I 1000% knew had to be in there was my mom's carrot cake. It's the cake she made for me every year of my life for my birthday, and that was a must. Um, those are definitely some favorites.
I love that. What's the recipe you would tell someone who's intimidated by gluten-free baking to make first?
Great question. I would say any of the um, quick breads, brownies, even a very simple cake, not a fancy layer cake, but like a single layer cake, like our orange polenta cake, which is far and away our best selling cake in the bakery. That one is very approachable, has very few ingredients, very easy to find the ingredients. That's a great one to start with at home.
And what should an experienced baker try when they want to challenge themselves?
I would say go for the breads and do something with the make the starter. So anything that requires a sourdough starter.
What's your earliest food memory?
Earliest food memory. I mean, since I think because we were just talking about it, but I would say definitely those carrot cakes of my childhood birthdays were really very memorable for me.
Who taught you to cook? Your mom?
My mom taught me to cook. To be perfectly honest, my mom is an excellent cook. It is not her passion. So it wasn't something that I don't have a lot of family recipes passed down. My mom was a very driven career woman, and it just, like I said, she's a great cook. It just was not the thing that she loved to do. So I taught myself a lot how to cook. I mean, it's just something
I
I
love
always
that.
enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a dish or a smell that immediately takes you back to your childhood?
I would say summers, like any kind of outside barbecue, like summer outdoor cooking, that kind of thing just makes me really remember like the fun all the fun memories of childhood.
What's one thing that you make for someone that you want to take care of them?
Oh, that's such a nice question. I mean, I feel like food is the biggest expression of it. It shows it shows somebody a little bit of yourself when you cook for them, right?
Yeah.
Um, I often bake. I even at home. I mean, obviously I often bake, but even at home, I bake a lot. So like I'll make simple things like cookies and brownies. Especially I feel like freshly made baked goods in the morning is to me feels like a really lovely way to like go the extra mile to show someone that you're making an effort to do something special for them,
Yeah.
even if it's simple, like a muffin or pancakes or waffles or something like that.
Right. Tell me about the Good Life shop. Where did that idea come from?
The Good Life shop. So I always think of the Good Life as like the Flour Craft umbrella has kind of opened a little bit more, and it's just it's a small kitchen and table, I call it. It's a home good store with a specific slant on kitchen and table.
Mhm.
And it's right next door to my business in Mill Valley, in the Mill Valley Lumber Yard. And the lovely property owners came to me. The woman that had the space before retired. It's a very small space. And they said, "Are you interested? I know that you've talked about doing something like this before. Are you interested in this space?" And I said, "Absolutely not. No, not interested. Uh, no more stores. No more stores." And then I think, I don't know, maybe it was an hour, maybe it was overnight or something. I called right back and I said, "All right, I'm interested. Let's talk about it." So here we are with the third store, and it's been so fun. It's been my first foray into retail. It's kind of like, you sort of took like I actually, the way that I live in my home is I'm a bit of a minimalist, but the store is definitely like my maximalist fantasy. So it's like you took like a little bit of like the like maximalist, vision out of my head and like put it on a shelf. So tons of cookbooks, tools for cooks, beautiful things for the home and kitchen, or kitchen and table, I should say. It's been great. It's been really fun.
Is there anything you're dreaming about doing next that you haven't done yet?
I would love to write a second book. I really, really would. And I've really been enjoying just getting out in the world a little bit and doing some events. I love doing like even sort of small little cooking classes and that type of thing to really to see people interacting with the food and feeling comfortable making it, and to see what the possibilities of gluten-free are in a very direct way. I mean, of course, I see that on a certain level at the shops on a daily basis, but it's also in the flow of like a production schedule or a work schedule. So to make that personal connection has been really lovely.
How important is self-care to you? And do you have anything that you do that's particularly consistent or important to you?
Self-care is extremely important to me. I know that this is no new news, but one cannot pour from an empty cup. It's just not possible. And
Yeah.
especially in the hospitality business, when the expectation is that you deliver exceptional hospitality at every moment, it is not possible to give that
Hmm.
unless you take care of yourself. So I really love being in nature. I love hiking, anything where I'm moving my body. My animals are really important to me. So walking my dog or being in the backyard with, gardening, those things are necessary.
Definitely. What do you do when you're completely depleted and you need to reset?
I try to haul myself out for a hike. That's like, if I'm really, then I feel really good about myself too. But if I'm really depleted, one thing that people might not know about me is my first and greatest love has always been horses. So I'm an avid equestrian. I always have been my whole life. And I spend time with my horse.
Where's your horse?
West Marin. So that for me is like, that's my happy place.
That was my next question. My horse was at Creekside.
Oh, really? Yeah. My
Yeah.
horse is in
Yeah.
Nicasio. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well,
Yeah.
my next question was, where's your happy place? Is there any other
My
place in the
happy
world
place
that?
is at the barn. Yeah. Or on the back of
Yeah,
my
I
horse.
get that. I
100%.
get that.
Yeah.
What kind of horse do you have?
My horse, he is a draft cross. So he's a
Ooh, it's a big
Percheron
boy.
paint and he's enormous. Yes, he's huge.
He's a
Had a lot
big
of horses
boy.
in my life and he's the biggest one I have ever had. Yeah.
Do you think that is there anything else that people would be surprised to know about you?
Probably, but that's probably the one that I'm willing to share.
Yeah. Ooh. What makes you
Yeah.
laugh? What makes you laugh?
I would say, oh gosh, what makes me laugh? Such a good question. Um, my animals, their antics.
Yeah, they're so funny. They're such
Mm-hmm.
personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire. Are you ready? Don't have to think
Okay,
too
I'm gonna have
hard.
a drink
Just,
of water. Mm-hmm.
yep. Okay, you ready? Get,
I'm ready. Let's do
okay,
it.
here we go. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Of course.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Neither, but if I had to pick tea, I'm a no caffeine person.
Really? And how's that go?
Hmm.
So what do you do
Oh,
in the
it's just
morning?
I have hot water with lemon. Is
Oh,
that too?
that's
Is
so
that
good.
just
Oh
like
no, I love
obnoxiously
that.
healthy?
No, I mean I do that too. I do that cold and then I have my tea.
Uh-huh.
Cake or cookies?
Both.
Yes.
Why choose? Yeah.
Yes. Bread or pastry?
Both. But
Oh,
pastry. Yeah.
yes.
Except for toast. Yeah.
Well, that okay, gosh, you're reading my mind. And I think I already know the answer to this. Toast or croissant?
Toast.
Duh. That's going to be the name of your next book or
I
something.
know.
Toast. Maybe a t-shirt, toast.
Right?
Butter or olive oil?
Butter.
Both? Oh, okay.
Both. Sure, both. Why not? Both. Yes.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Farmer's market or Mill Valley Market?
Mill Valley Market is so lovely. I love it, but definitely farmers market.
Yes. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Cooking for two or cooking for 20?
Cooking for two.
Recipe.
I cook for 20 all the time, but cooking for two is really like that's my happy spot. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Are you a recipe follower or you kind of make it up as you go?
I make it up as I go. For sure. I use recipes as inspiration.
Correct. Yes.
So, and then I just take it from there. Yeah.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird,
Barefoot or high heels?
barefoot,
Mountains or beach?
beach. Both, I mean, kind of both, but I don't love the cold weather. So mountains if it's not
Yeah.
cold. Yeah.
Yes. Favorite season to cook?
Fall.
Favorite ingredient right this today?
Favorite ingredient today was these fantastically beautiful, like late season peaches that I was working with
Ooh,
today. Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
What is the one ingredient that I can always find in your refrigerator?
Yogurt, always yogurt. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I have a lot of favorites, but I like Siggy's. I like the strained sort of Icelandic like skyr versions. Hmm.
What's the kitchen tool that you can't live without?
Other than my chef's knife, I would say my mini offset spatula because I am a baker after all. So
That is true.
yeah.
Most overrated food trend.
What is that weird dot cake thing that's happening now? I don't understand that at all. It's like a cupcake. It's just a cupcake. I don't understand. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't
It's
even know.
like, okay, so it's like a jar, I guess, a little jar, a mason jar that's filled with cake. It's a cake jar, right? And then it has
Okay.
icing on top, and then they like turn the whole thing over and dip the top in like those crunchy sprinkles. And it's like this wildfire baking trend. And I'm like, that is a cupcake. So anyway.
Yeah, agreed. I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
Is there a food trend that you actually love?
Hmm. I have to I have to think about that. Like what is even like the hot trend happening right now? I have to think about that. I don't know. I don't have an
Okay.
answer for that.
You have to
I
get
got
back to me on
distracted
that
by the
one.
dot cake. Yeah.
I know that's just annoying.
I
It's a
was, it
nuisance.
upset me. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure, I do love chocolate. Love it.
Mm.
Yeah. Not in a lot, but I like not like in a large quantity, but I like consistent. I like it consistently.
What's the favorite thing to eat that you don't cook yourself?
Favorite thing to eat that I don't cook myself. Honestly, I think that probably chefs and people that cook in general are so appreciative of just anything that someone cooks for them. And like the answer to your question is a home cooked meal that somebody else makes. And it could
Totally. Yeah,
be
yeah.
anything because no one wants to cook for you.
No,
Because they're
because they're
like,
all
I'm
freaking
not,
out.
yeah, I'm not cooking for her. It's like just anything. I would be so
You're like
grateful.
a grilled
So
cheese would be fantastic in a
it's
glass of wine.
fantastic if you make it.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So if actually when I show up tomorrow at Flour Craft,
Okay.
what's one thing I've actually been there many, many times and
Oh,
I
you're
love
so
it.
sweet.
But
Thank you.
what
Thank
is
you.
the one thing if I hadn't been there the first time, what would you be making me eat?
I would say you should not leave without the sourdough chocolate chip cookie. Those are great. Right now, we're doing a lemon lavender scone, which is really delicious,
Ooh,
and
that's
that's kind of on
beautiful.
its way out because, like, here comes pumpkin. So,
Right.
yeah, so that is really a lovely one too.
Has there ever been anything that you've made that you thought was, you know, good, but like people went bananas over? Like, is there any surprises?
It constantly surprises me at the things that people and a lot of it is like I think that running a successful food business, you have to separate like what you personally like with what you think is good, like what you know is good. It's like, I know there's
And
things that
what's
we
going to sell?
make.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know there's things we make that are good. Like they check every box. I know the texture is right. I know the flavor is on point. I know it looks really pretty. I don't personally like it, but that's just a personal preference thing. So I will say back to that question, it's like there's constantly things that surprise me that people buy. It's not because they're not good. It's just because it just isn't my personal taste.
Right, right, right.
Like bread pudding, that's one. People like love bread pudding, and I'm like, I would never eat that. I know it's great. It just isn't what I want to eat. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. One person living or not that you'd love to cook for.
that I'd love to cook for.
Yes.
Um, well, I would love to cook for Martha Stewart only because I'd really like to meet her. But I would be, oh my, could you imagine how scary? That would be the most terrifying thing I ever did, but only because I
Yeah.
would really love to meet her. Yeah,
What's one thing you do every day for yourself?
move my body, get outside in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And is there one thing that you're never too busy for?
Never too busy for a walk. Like I just
Yeah.
make it happen, even if it's like after dinner, 10 minutes down the
It,
block and
it's
back.
I
Like
agree.
it's
It's that
essential.
consistency. It is.
Yeah,
It does make a difference.
it does.
What have I not asked you today that you would like to share?
Great question. Oh, I would love for people to know that I am developing a little community on Substack. So that's something that I've really been enjoying. And it's a fun way for me to test out new recipes, to get feedback, direct feedback from people. And I do that twice a week. So Mondays and Thursdays, we send out a new recipe. Some are paid and some are free, but that's been a fun area to dive into.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Heather, this has been so much fun. Thank you so
Oh, thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. It's been really a delight chatting with you. So I
Oh,
appreciate the
thank you.
opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am Christina Flack, and I'm too busy. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'll see you next week.